The Blair Witch Project. The Blair Witch Project is the classic psychological horror film that popularized the found footage subgenre. And by popularized, I mean it gaslit an entire generation into thinking free art school kids were actually murdered by forest ghosts and a shaky cam. You're dropped into the camcorder hell of Heather, Mike, and Josh. Three poor souls who thought hiking into cursed Maryland woods with zero exit plan was peak indie cinema. At first, it's all awkward interviews and shaky optimism. Then come the twig bundles, stickmen hanging from trees like Blair's arts and crafts final boss, and sounds in the night that make you question if raccoons can whisper. The deeper they go, the more reality peels off like old wallpaper. The map disappears. Thanks, Mike. And they start walking in infinite loops like they're trapped inside a cursed Minecraft seed. Josh goes missing without a sound. Then Heather wakes up to a bloody bundle outside the tent, wrapped in his shirt, containing what looks suspiciously like teeth, hair, and the last bit of hope by the time they find the house. The same one where a man once made kids stand in the corner while he murdered them, one by one. Mike suddenly knows exactly where to go, leads Heather through the pitch-black ruin and runs ahead, calling out fake Josh's voice as bait, then just stands in a corner like he's buffering. Heather's screams cut off mid-sentence, her camera drops, and that's it. No ghost, no killer, just implication, dread, and two dudes who might have planned the whole thing from the start. It was so effective that it got parodied by Scooby-Doo, launched a genre, and tricked people into mailing sympathy cards to the actors' parents. You never see the witch, but you feel her. In the static, in the screams, in that one cold second before it all goes black. Wreck. Imagine trying to uncover a newsworthy story, only to find out you'll never get to publish it. That's what happened to Angela Vidal, a plucky TV reporter whose Slice of Life segment turned into a first-person documentary on how to die screaming in a Barcelona apartment complex sealed tighter than Area 51's back door. It starts with firemen, sleep-deprived tenants, and one little old lady who suddenly goes full WWE on a cop's neck. That's when the building gets locked down, military style, and surprise, no one's leaving. As panic spreads, it becomes clear that something inside is infecting people fast. Victims become violent, almost rabid, and within hours, the residents are either dead or missing. The power goes out and the infected swarm the stairwell. Pablo, Angela's cameraman, keeps recording as the building turns into a trap. Eventually, everyone's dead except Angela and Pablo, who manage to reach the penthouse. Inside are newspaper clippings, Vatican documents, and audio tapes. The apartment belonged to a priest studying a demonic possession in a girl named Tristana Medeiros. Just when you thought you were safe in the attic, a little infected boy launches out of the shadows and wrecks the camera light. Pablo switches to night vision, and in the grainy green static, they find Tristana Medeiros, emaciated, blind, and moving like a starving predator. Pablo dies off-screen. Angela crawls, screams, and gets dragged into the dark. There's no resolution, no help, and no monster reveal, just pure nightmare fuel captured on tape. Rec didn't just raise the bar for found footage horror, it slammed it into your face. Paranormal Activity. Nothing beats a supernatural experience caught on cam, and that's exactly what Paranormal Activity delivers with moving objects, mysterious fires, and hair-raising possessions. The story follows Katie and Micah, a couple living in suburban San Diego, who think filming their bedroom is a good idea after Katie admits something has followed her since she was 8. Spoiler alert, it did follow her, and now it wants the house. At first it's harmless, a few flickering lights, footsteps, maybe a door creak, then Micah gets bold, brings out a Ouija board, and the thing burns it without touching it. Katie starts sleepwalking. She stands over his bed at 1 a.m. for hours without moving, just staring, no blinking, like something else is using her body while she's on hold. Then comes the baby powder. Micah spreads it across the hallway, and in the morning, they find prints leading to the attic. Not human prints, not anything that should walk upright. And have you ever felt like you suddenly fell from your bed? That's what happened to Katie. But this time, she didn't fall. She got ripped out by both legs, dragged screaming into the hallway, clawing at the carpet while something invisible pulled her into the dark. Micah keeps filming like it's a paranormal reality show, but on the final night, Katie goes downstairs in a trance. Her scream cuts through the silence, then chaos, then nothing. She returns hours later, blood on her shirt, eyes blank. She stares into the lens, then charges it with an inhuman scream. Host. The host is what happens when lockdown boredom meets summoning rituals and webcam death. Set entirely on a Zoom call during the COVID-19 pandemic, it follows 6 friends who thought contacting spirits online was a cute idea. Haley organizes the seance, Gemma jokes through it, Teddy dips out early, and somewhere between astral projection and cheap wine, someone opens the door to something very real. It begins with the friends inviting a medium, Salem Baxter. The call was pretty chill at first until Gemma told a ghost story about a friend who himself just to mess with the group. But eventually things took a spooky turn as Gemma started talking telepathically to a boy named Jack. Seconds later, weird things begin to happen, the medium's call gets disconnected, and Gemma admits it was all fake. But the damage is already done. Strange things start happening fast. Haley's chair is pulled across the room. Emma's wine glass shatters with no one near it. Caroline investigates a noise in her attic and catches a glimpse of legs swaying from the ceiling. The attacks intensify. Emma's zoom filter tags an invisible face wearing a full glam mask. Radina is dragged out of frame. Teddy returns unaware of the chaos and watches his girlfriend get lifted and killed before he's burned alive in his backyard. One by one, they're all picked off. Caroline gets ripped through a window and Emma falls to her death. Haley, alone in the dark, hides under her desk with only a camera flash to see. She clicks once and catches the demon's face right in front of her. The Zoom meeting ended with no end call or goodbyes, just a demon that really knew how to crash a meeting. Lake Mungo. Lake Mungo is a horror film disguised as a documentary built around grief, family secrets, and a dead girl who won't stop showing up in the footage. It follows the Palmer family after 16-year-old Alice drowns in a dam. Her body is found, identified, and buried, but that's just the start. Alice's brother, Matthew, sets up cameras and starts capturing strange things, figures behind windows, shadows near Alice's room, and one moment where she seems to appear behind their mother in an old tape. The family hires a psychic. They exhume the body. Still, Alice. Still no peace. Then, Matthew confesses he faked most of the early ghost footage to help their mom cope. A sweet gesture if you ignore the fact that he staged his dead sister's haunting. Some theories online go deeper, claiming Matthew might have been involved in Alice's death and that his obsessive behavior hints at something much worse, like step-sibling energy, but the criminal kind. Soon after, things get darker. A hidden camera catches their neighbor breaking into Alice's room. Another tape reveals Alice was in a secret relationship with him and his wife. Then her lost phone is found at Lake Mungo. On it, Alice records herself walking alone, clearly afraid. Then she sees something coming. It's her own corpse, bloated and silent, exactly how she was found. In that same recording, she said,
"I feel like something bad has happened. It hasn't reached me yet, but it's on its way."
The Palmers move out, thinking it's over, but Alice never logged out. She's there in the footage, in the corners, in the silence, stuck like a haunted Google Drive that no one ever emptied. Creep. Creep follows Aaron, a videographer who takes a one-day filming job in the mountains and ends up starring in someone else's snuff film. He answers a Craigslist ad promising $1,000 and meets Joseph, who says he's dying, wants to record a goodbye video for his unborn son, and definitely doesn't give serial killer vibes at first. Then comes Tubby Time, where Joseph gets in the bath, pretends to wash an invisible baby, and coos like an off-brand Teletubby before fake himself for laughs. Aaron, clearly too polite to leave, keeps filming. Things escalate when Joseph introduces a disturbing wolf mask named Peach Fuzz, complete with a folktale, a creepy dance, and yes, a moment where he rubs his furry butt against a door while growling. Somewhere out there, a furry saw this and whispered, finally, representation. The improv energy only gets worse. Joseph abandons Aaron in the woods, stalks him in costume, confesses to crimes that may or may not be real, and gaslights him with a missing car key stunt. When Aaron finally escapes, Joseph begins mailing him videotapes, gifts, and a locket with a chunk of his hair, turning the whole thing into a DIY psychological horror unboxing channel. Eventually, they meet again in a park. Joseph acts remorseful. Aaron lets his guard down. Joseph pulls out an axe and ends the film with a single brutal swing. Peach Fuzz returns, dancing over the body. Creep doesn't rely on ghosts or demons, just one man, a camcorder, and the terrifying power of a Craigslist improv enthusiast who thinks you're his best friend. VHS. Released in 2012, VHS is a found footage horror anthology where a gang of low IQ criminals breaks into a crusty abandoned house to steal one specific VHS tape. But instead of grabbing it and bouncing like people with functional brains, they find a corpse in front of a wall of TVs and decide to press play on whatever tape looks cursed enough. Each one is its own mini horror film, starting with Amateur Night, where three frat bros try to secretly record a hookup. They end up picking up Lily, a shy girl who turns out to be a man-eating harpy with wings, claws, and no chill. Instant Karma. In Second Honeymoon, a couple's road trip ends with toothbrush sabotage, silent stalking, and a twist that turns it into a breakup from hell. Tuesday the 17th drops a glitchy killer into the woods, visible only on camera, who kills a group brought in as bait. Emily's haunting starts with webcam calls and bruises, and ends with her boyfriend casually helping a spirit experiment on her body, while she forgets everything on loop. Finally, October 31st, 1998 gives us four bros who crash a satanic ritual, try to rescue a girl, and trigger a full haunted house meltdown. They escaped with the girl, but she teleports out of a locked car and they crash. No survivors, just one hell of a trick or treat. Back at the house, the tapes kill the crew one by one, then the screen cuts to static. The morale of the story is simple. Don't break into a house and steal VHS tapes unless you want to get cursed, eaten, possessed, or turned into tape yourself. Grave encounters. Abandoned hospitals are some of the scariest places to be, and Grave Encounters proves why in the most cursed way possible. It's framed as the lost episode of a low-budget ghost hunting show featuring Lance Preston, a fame-hungry host, and his crew, Sasha the sensitive investigator, Matt the tech guy, TC the camera operator with zero chill, and Houston, a fake psychic with real ego. They lock themselves overnight in the abandoned Collingwood Psychiatric Hospital, a place infamous for torture, lobotomies, and ghost stories. At first, it's all EMF readers and cheesy voiceovers. Then time freezes, the building seals itself, and Matt disappears like he clipped through the map. Things spiral fast. Sasha gets scratched in her sleep. A ghost says hello with literal back carving, and Houston's big solo moment ends with him being yeeted into the ceiling by an invisible force. They find Matt again. He's wearing a patient gown, rambling about Dr. Friedkin, and swan dives down an elevator shaft. TC gets bathtub jump scared straight out of existence, and Sasha is swallowed by ghost mist. Eventually, only Lance is left, starving, filthy, and filming like it's his confession to hell. He stumbles into a spotless operating room where the camera cuts out. When it turns back on, Lance stares, lobotomy scar fresh, and whispers, "Lance Preston, signing off." If you're still brave enough to sleep after that, make sure to hit subscribe for more cursed tapes and haunted breakdowns. See you in the next one.